Our next debate to the country's geographical centre, the heart of the Vidarbha region, Nagpur. It's here, right in the city where the RSS is headquartered, that the Congress today chose to kick off its campaign for the 2024 Lok Sabha elections. Now, the Congress's own historical ties with Nagpur go back to 1920, when the non-cooperation movement was launched right there during the Nagpur session. Tonight, we take a look at Rahul Gandhi's central messages at the rally today. His pitching of the 2024 elections as a battle of two ideologies, his reaffirmation of the need for a caste census across the country, and his reassertion that the Prime Minister doesn't listen to the common man's wants and needs. We look to understand the Congress. Congress is obviously saying, "Hum tayyar hain." But will these familiar pillars be enough to poise them in a truly strong position for 2024? That's what we take a look at tonight.
उनकी विचारधारा राजाओं की विचारधारा है, किसी की सुननी नहीं। ऑर्डर ऊपर से आएगा, आपको ऑर्डर का पालन करना पड़ेगा।
आरएसएस में जो पैदा हुई यहीं से हुई और आज यही आरएसएस देश को बर्बाद कर रही है। और ये जो संघ की सरकार है, अगर इसको नहीं रोक सके तो देश बर्बादी की ओर जाएगा।
Okay, to understand this topic in far more depth, we have with us tonight Shehzad Poonawala, National Spokesperson for the BJP, and Mohan K. Mangalam, a spokesperson for the Congress. Good evening, gentlemen. Thank you for joining us right here on the channel. Okay, I'm going to come over to both of you just to get your initial responses. Of course, Mohan, I expect yours to be largely positive to what it is that Rahul Gandhi said today. But I'll come to you for both of your first reactions, then we'll get into the real debate. Shehzad, first to you, all of the messaging you heard today. Rahul Gandhi talking about familiar topics. That battle of two ideologies is something we've heard before. Caste census, also something we've heard before. Did you sense something new? Was there something that caught your interest?
First of all, Toya, what we are focused on is not on Rahul Gandhi's speeches, but how this country needs to go from 10th position to 3rd position as far as the economy is concerned, how we've removed 13.5 crore people from poverty, how 60 crore people have got some or the other benefit from Prime Minister Modi's schemes, how 11 crore toilets have been built, how 11 crore Nal Se Jal has been given, 4 crore poor people's houses have been built, per capita incomes have doubled, the middle class income has quadrupled, how we have built 70 airports in the last 9 years, how we built highways at a double pace. This is what we are focused on. Having said the question, Rahul Gandhi's speech now sound almost repetitive. Perhaps they could start with an AI version of him. At least that one would have artificial intelligence, even if it's artificial. Point is that all of these issues that have been raised by Rahul Gandhi were raised in the last 5 state assembly elections. Let me not go back too far. In these 5 elections, there was only one government that repeated. That was Madhya Pradesh government after 18 years, which means it was an endorsement on our performance, endorsement on the issues of berozgari, mehengai, that we are doing what is required. Whereas on the other hand, Rahul Gandhi's 2 state governments, Chhattisgarh and Rajasthan, were booted out of power. The least Rahul Gandhi can do is perhaps understand the message that the people are giving him. They may say, "Hum tayyar hai." Janta is saying, "Hum aapke liye tayyar hain." And by the way, in Nagpur, today on the day when they had this meeting, Mr. Sanjay Raut has categorically snubbed Congress Party's leader Ashok Chavan, who was the last chief minister, one of the big chief ministers they had in Maharashtra, and he has said that we will contest 23 seats. So I think he should start not with Nyay Yatra, but with Indi Jodo Yatra. And just a factoid, today the Congress Party does not complete 139 years, actually 138 years. This is actually Congress Indira, which split from the original Congress, the Congress Syndicate. So, anyways, they want to take credit for everything. They are welcome to. But this was actually the version of Congress that came up in 1969 when Indira Gandhi split from the Syndicate.
Okay, Mr. Mangalam, do you want to go ahead?
I heard him talking about using AI, and I think the Prime Minister just used AI, but the people of Tamil Nadu still couldn't understand or couldn't care less about what he said in his speech. Now, Mr. Gandhi has talked about many of the themes that he mentioned today, but I think today's speech was all-encompassing and centered around the main 3 themes of economic, social, and political equality or nyaya. And he drew some really good parallels. I mean, he started off making sure that he draws a distinction between our ideology and that of the BJP RSS. He drew very distinct parallels between the monarchs of yesteryears, pre-independence, and the East India Company, along with how the BJP now cooperates with Adani and Co to concentrate all power and money. And he talked about very important issues of unemployment and the number of issues facing the youth of India today. He talked about the capture of institutions when it came to political justice, and how all states are facing this sort of pseudo leadership by the governors, and there is legislation now that is stuck because the vice chancellors in universities in many states are basically being planted in as ex-RSS people who aren't really qualified to be there. So there are a whole host of issues he addressed, but largely he made sure that he draws a very different and distinct path for India from the one that BJP is taking us on. And for
Okay.
all the facts and figures that Mr. Shahzad Poonawalla quoted, the reality is that India still has one of the most unequal populations in terms of income inequality, and we still have some major challenges there in terms of redistribution of wealth and resources.
Okay, Mr. Mangalam, Shahzad, I'll give you a chance to respond to that in a second. But Mr. Mangalam, I do want to come to you with one more question before we go ahead. A lot of the key planks that we saw Rahul Gandhi bring up right now were key planks also of the elections we've seen play out. I just want to understand from you, how does the Congress look at the losses in Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh and Rajasthan? I'm only focusing on them because a lot of the key areas, so the caste census, for example, economy, for example, these were focuses of the Congress plank there too, but they didn't resonate. I'm not debating whether or not they are important at all, but I am saying they didn't seem to resonate as much. What has the Congress's analysis on that been?
So, I think both those elections are state elections that were fought on state issues. Yes, those larger issues are always pervading in every election that we talk about. But while those elections were fought, most of the media was very clear on the fact that these are state elections not being fought under the
Right.
leadership of with Mr. Modi or Mr. Gandhi. Those individual leaders, the individual candidates, their strengths and weaknesses, the local factors in the ground, a whole host of issues were the reasons why we lost in those two states. I mean, we can have a whole show talking about every seat there and the reasons behind them. I don't think, as you yourself said, these makes these issues unimportant or not as important in the larger national picture. I think these issues are very much national issues and are going to, and whether we improve on these indicators or we deprecate on these indicators is going to depend on national policies more so than I think individual states.